Hey guys! Welcome to Films Recapped. Today we have a thriller film from 2008 titled, The Happening. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and enjoy. The movie begins with two friends sitting in Central Park, New York. In a strange turn of events, one of them notices a group of people clawing at themselves and all of a sudden, everyone stops moving. A few people are seen walking backwards, but thankfully, animals seem to be unharmed. She turns around to check in on her friend, only to realize that she had been affected as well. Her friend begins to utter some words emotionlessly and slowly stabs herself with her hair stick. 3 blocks away at a construction site, a worker tragically falls from the top of the building. What initially seemed to be a one-off accident, soon turns out to be mass suicide, as more workers are seen falling from the building. Elliot Moore is a high school science teacher in Philadelphia. He shares with the class an article about honeybees disappearing all over the country and asks them what are the possible reasons this could occur. As the students give their thoughts on the issue, the vice principal enters the classroom asking for Elliot. The teachers are all gathered in the school hall where they are informed of the situation, which is believed to be a bioterrorist attack using an airborne neurotoxin. This neurotoxin is said to be flipping the self-preservation switch, which the human brain is equipped with to stop self-harming actions. Elliot and his wife, Alma, decide to go to Harrisburg by train along with Julian and his 8-year-old daughter, Jess, to be with Julian's mother. Julian's wife, who is out getting a birthday gift for Jess, is stuck in Philadelphia but is expected to be on the next train to Harrisburg. As the group are en route to Harrisburg, the situation in Philadelphia worsens as the toxin starts attacking people in the park. Elliot soon receives news that Philadelphia had been attacked. Julian manages to get in touch with his wife and learns that she did not manage to get on board the train, but she got onto a bus to Princeton. The train comes to a halt at a small town where all the passengers were told to disembark. No one knows why the train stopped or where they were. Elliot speaks to the driver to discover that they had lost all forms of communication and could not proceed further. The group heads to a local restaurant for a meal and they find out that it has become less likely that a terrorist group is responsible for the attacks, and that they were right in the center of the event. The power in the bar trips and everyone begins to panic as they try to leave. Julian is unable to get in touch with his wife and decides to go look for her. He manages to hitch a ride and leaves Jess with the Moores. Elliot is devastated to see him leave his daughter behind and part ways with them. A couple pulls up to Elliot, willing to give them a ride. The couple, who run a plant nursery, head home to grab their belongings before hitting the road. While looking around the nursery, the man tells Elliot that he believes the plants are causing this event, as they are able to release chemicals to defend themselves from threats. Meanwhile, Julian arrives in Princeton to find out that it has already been hit by the toxin. His group discovers dead bodies hanging on trees. He tells everyone to cover the vents and tries to calm the frightened lady in the backseat. They continue driving into the town when Julian hears a breeze of wind entering the vehicle. He looks up to find an opening in the roof and believes the toxin has already entered the vehicle. Succumbing to it, the driver runs the car into a tree, causing everyone to die except for Julian. He exits the vehicle and kills himself. Elliot, Alma, Jess, and the couple are driving towards a town when they notice the roads blocked up ahead. Elliot picks up a pair of binoculars and was shocked to see bodies lying on the road. They decide to take a different route where they see a military vehicle coming from the direction they were heading towards. The military officer tells them not to take that road as he had seen military personnel wrapped in barbed wire. A few other vehicles approach from different roads, stating that they witnessed similar sightings. Having no other option, the survivors gather to agree on walking towards a small unpopulated town. They split into 2 groups, with Elliot, Alma and Jess in the smaller group. After walking some distance, the larger group gets affected by the toxin and the military officer shoots himself with his firearm. The smaller group hears gunshots and Elliot realizes that the plants are only targeting large groups of people. At that moment, they realize a gust of wind heading in their direction. He tells the group to split into smaller pockets and try to stay ahead of the wind. The gust of wind passes through them and they survived, believing that being in a smaller group keeps them safe. Elliot's group arrives at a model home and he manages to find a map. They quickly leave as they notice 2 groups arriving together. This causes the toxin to be released and the group starts to kill themselves. They soon arrive at another town to look for food and rest. They approach a property, which looks abandoned. As the boys are about to break in, they notice someone move inside. Elliot pleads to the residents for food and shelter, but they deny them entry, as they were trying to protect themselves from the toxin. Being frustrated at their unwillingness to help, the two teenage boys force to break the door. The residents feel threatened by this and shoot both of them. Citizens all over the country are preparing themselves for the worst. A professor on a news broadcast states that the event should be at its peak the next morning, and that it should end at any moment after. Elliot, Alma, and Jess arrive at another isolated house that has no electricity nor is connected to any driveway. Elliot goes ahead to check the house out and finds an old lady, Mrs. Jones, sitting on the porch. Elliot feels something off about the lady but accepts when she offers them supper. When asked if she knew what was going on, she tells them in an eccentric tone to keep it to themselves as she did not care what happens to the world. She reluctantly offers them to stay the night. As Alma complains to Elliot about Mrs. Jones, she stands in the hallway accusing them of plotting to steal and murder her, to which Elliot appallingly denies. The next morning, Elliot wakes up and looks for Mrs. Jones. He enters her bedroom to find a doll on her bed. Mrs. Jones becomes hysterical when she finds Elliot in her bedroom and demands him to leave. She storms out of the house and becomes infected with the toxin. Elliot realizes that the plants are now not only targeting big groups but individuals as well. He locks himself in the house as Mrs. Jones starts breaking the window, allowing the toxin to enter the house. He hears Alma and Jess but is unable to find them. He finds a room with an old talking tube, where the voices can be heard, which leads to the home's spring house out in the back. Elliot warns them of the threat and tells them to close the door and window. Elliot expresses his love for Alma before deciding that if these are his last moments, he would want to spend them with her. The three leave the safety of their positions and brace in the yard, surprised to find themselves unaffected by the neurotoxin. The outbreak has died off as quickly as it began. 3 months later, Elliot and Alma have adjusted to their new life with Jess as their adopted daughter. On television, an expert, comparing the event to a red tide, warns that the epidemic may have only been a warning. He states that humans have become a threat to the planet and that is why the plants have responded aggressively. Alma takes a pregnancy test to discover that she is pregnant and embraces Elliot with the news. Civilians are enjoying their day in the Tuileries Gardens at the Louvre Palace in Paris, France. Two friends are walking in the park when one of them hears a scream. He is relieved when he looked around to see that everything is fine, but he notices his friend repeat words in a state of confusion. He is shocked when he sees everyone frozen in place as the wind rustles through the trees, signifying another attack by the plants. Hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Please do like and subscribe for more.